Does this place look familiar to you? A physical, traditional school. You are all well aware, though, that this is not where students or teachers are today. Most are during school hours at home in front of their phones or Chromebooks, attending or teaching class. This overwhelming change obviously has effects on both teachers and students, which poses my research question. How has mandatory online schooling affected students and teachers of traditional schools? My way of researching was a bit different from everyone else's. As opposed to having one interview source, interviews were my primary type of sources. I did this by sending out a survey that I made for teachers and another for students, that of which a few people in our class actually participated in. The surveys had many questions, mainly asking about the impact on students and their education, teachers and the instruction, and both of the group's personal and social lives. There were multiple advantages to doing my research this way, one being that it was different from how I've ever written, offered personal responses, made citing significantly easier, and many people responded with similar things, and it's good to have agreeing sources. There were also many downfalls to doing my research like this. For example, some answers were not thought through well. Many people responded with the same things, leading to less substance, and not many students responded to the survey. I have learned many things in my research. First, I compared traditional schooling to online schooling. Every study conducted that I researched represented that traditional schools are better than online schooling in most ways. For example, in ELA scores between the two are similar, but the dropout rates for online schools are proven to be much higher than traditional schools. Also, David Kenneth Strang conveys research on online schooling and its effect on students, such as their resistance, performance, regression, computer anxiety, and lack of motivation. Despite most people preferring traditional schools, many teachers agree that sudden online schooling is much better than absolutely nothing at all. On the contrary, another teacher sincerely believes that it is not necessary to shove online schooling at students. She feels it's creating more stress than anything. There were many difficulties teaching as well. It is not personal enough for teachers to understand if students are grasping concepts or struggling. Many teachers agree that resources are limited and are therefore hindering classes. Such resources include computers, internet, and time. Performance classes such as choir, band, and drama are impossible to teach, and the major outlier in this research would be Camilo, who argues that teaching online is not more difficult and that it only requires more research. He also assures that all his students are motivated and are learning as much as normal, and the only difficulties are technical. It also had many effects on students' educations. Nearly every student struggles to stay motivated and focused and are not really retaining any knowledge because of the distractions. Many students do not attend online classes or do any of their assigned work. Many parents are not able to teach their child, causing many students to fall behind. Multiple students confess to cheating, which affects how they actually learn. Surprisingly, most students were apathetic toward the possibility of SATs being disregarded in the future. Though students are not learning as much as before in regards to academics, they are learning other necessary skills, such as time management, adaptation, and persistence when times are difficult. This is also having a large effect on personal and social lives. Teachers are worried about their students' home lives. Many teachers mentioned that they miss interacting with their students. Seniors are missing out on critical high school experiences such as the last dance, the last day of school, and senior field trips. Some are not concerned about these things, though, but miss the necessary everyday interactions that online school is depriving everyone of. I do admit, though, that this assignment was quite difficult. I believe that the most challenging parts were attempting to stay focused and keep away from distractions, to not repeat myself, and to make the paper flow well, because sometimes I struggle with writing in a way that isn't awkward and choppy. And lastly, this presentation was especially painful for no specific reason. What's next? Hopefully, it's not online schooling, though it will be an experience that will never be forgotten, possibly even change schooling. Many people, including myself, cannot wait to get back into the classrooms next year.